Welcome guys to my new video. In this video I will talk about the loops in the C programming language. I will talk about the for, the while and the do while loop. So first of all, like my video, subscribe to my channel and let's start our lecture. Definition: what is a loop? Loops in programming are used to repeat a block of code until the specified condition is met. A loop statement allows programmers to execute a statement of group of statements multiple times without repetition of code. For example, if I need to print hello world a million times, it's very difficult to write hello world a million times. We use the loop. There are mainly two types of loops in C programming. First, we have the entry-controlled loop. In entry-controlled loop, the test condition is checked before the entering of the main body of the loop. We have the entry-controlled loop. We have the for loop and the while loop is an entry-controlled loop. Second type is the exit-controlled loop. In the exit-controlled loop, the test condition is evaluated in the end of the loop body. The loop body will execute at least one. The do while loop is the exit-controlled loop. Let's see the difference between the entry-controlled loop and the exit-controlled loop. The entry-controlled loop is the for loop and the while loop. The condition is in the first of the loop, like here. But in the exit-controlled loop, the condition is in the end of the loop, like the do while loop. Now let's see the difference between the for, while, and the do while. For loop, first we have the initialization, the condition check, the executes the body, and at last the update is done. Initialization, the condition updating, and we have here the body. The while loop, first we have the initialization, then condition checks, and then execute the body, and updating can be inside the body. Do while loop, do while first executes the body and then the condition is checked is done. We have the body and the condition in the end of the loop. This is the difference between the entry controlled loop and the exit controlled loop. For loop. For loop in C programming language is a repetition control structure that allows programmers to write a loop that will be executed a specific number of times. For loop enables programmers to perform n number of steps together in a single line. This is the syntax of the for loop. We have the initialization or the initialized expression, text expression, and the update expression. And we have the body between the braces. For example, the initialization can be, for example, an integer, for example, integer x or integer I. Text expression, for example, I is less than or equal to n. And update expression is the I++, decrement or increment. In for loop, a loop variable is used to control the loop. Firstly, we initialize the loop variable with some value, then check its test condition. If the statement is true, then control will move to the body and the body of the loop will be executed. Steps will be repeated till the exit condition becomes true. If the test condition will be false, then it will stop. Now let's explain the syntax of the for loop, and let's start with the initialization expression. In this expression, we assigned a loop variable or loop counter to some value, for example, integer I. The test expression. In this expression, test conditions are performed. If the condition evaluates to true, then the loop body will be executed and then an update of the loop variable is done. If the test expression becomes false, then the control will exit from the loop. For example, of the test expression, I is less than to 5, for example. Update expression after execution of the loop, body loop variable is updated by some value. It could be increment or decrement, multiplied or divided by any value. For example, I++ or I-. This is the decrement and increment. Now let's see an example about the for loop and the flow chart of the for loop. The flow chart with the for loop will start. We have the initialization expression and the test condition. If the test is true, we continue to the block statement. It will be executed, and we have the update expression. And it's repeat till the condition is ended. If the condition is false, the program are stopped. Now look at this example about the for loop. We have include studio, integer main, integer I equal to 0. For we have the initialization I equal to 1. It's an integer. Here it's an integer. Test expression I is less than or equal to 10. And the update expression I++. Here I need to print hello world 10 times. This program will print for me hello world 10 times. The while loop. While loop does not depend of the number of iteration. The execution is terminated on the basis of the test condition. If the test condition will become false, then it will break from the while loop, else body will be executed. Let's see the syntax of the while loop. We have the initialization expression, while the test expression, and the body of the while loop, and finally we have the update expression. This is the syntax about the syntax of the while loop. We start with the initialize expression, for example, integer I equal to 0, while I is less than or equal to 10, the body of the loop, and finally I++ or I-. This is the flow chart of the while loop. Here we start the loop. We have the test condition. If the test is false, the while loop is end. If the test is true, the body is executed, and we repeat the loop until the condition is end. Let's see an example about the while loop. We'll start with integer main, integer I equal to 2, I is less than to 10, and print hello world I++. This is an example about the while loop. Now the do while loop. The do while loop is similar to a while loop, but the only difference lies in the do while loop is the test condition, which is tested at the end of the body. In the do while loop, the loop body will execute at least one, irrespective of the test condition. Let's see the syntax. We start with the initialization expression, do, open the braces. We have the body of the while loop and the update expression. And we have the while text expression with a semicolon. Here's the semicolon in the while expression, test expression is very important. This is the syntax of the do while loop, and this is the flow chart. Start the loop. We have the loop body condition. If the condition is true, the program will be executed, and if it is false, the loop is end. Let's see an example about the do while loop. Here we have the initialization expression, I equal to 2, do, open the braces, the loop body start here, printf hello world, we have the update expression I++, and the while the expression and it ends with the semicolon. Now the loop control statements. Loop control statements in C programming language are used to change execution from its normal sequence. We have, for example, here break statement. The break statement is used to terminate the switch and loop statement. It transfers the execution to the statement immediately following the loop or switch. Continue statement skips the remainder body and immediately resets its condition before reiterating. Go to statement transfer the control to the label statement. This is the loop control statements in the C programming language. Now let's do this small exercise. We need to print coding realm 20 times using a for loop. In this exercise, we will start with include studio, integer main, and the for loop. In the for loop, I need to put first the initialization expression, integer, for example, I equal to 0, semicolon. This expression, I less than, I need to print 20 times, less than 20, semicolon also, and the update expression is I++. And I open the braces, and I put here the coding realm to print it 20 times. Let's write the code to see the result. Hashtag include studio.h, integer main. Now let's put the for loop for initialization, integer I equal to 0, I less than 20, I++, and printf coding realm. And finally return 0. Let's run the code to see the result, and this is our C program using the for loop to print coding realm 20 times.